Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Overwatch Weekly. I want to start this one off just by mentioning that I am recording this video earlier than I normally do. Typically I record these videos around 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. It is currently 3:38 p.m. on Tuesday, so if something breaks between now and when I would normally edit this video together, I will try to record a little segment to add on to the video, and I'll let you know as I'm recording that, hey, I'm adding this on later. I don't expect anything to break between now and then, but just in case something does, I want you all to know that that is something that is happening. But I have 4 stories to cover for today. We're moving on from me talking about what's going on with this one, so we're going to start with our first story, which is that there are some patch notes for the live servers. Of course, there's a specific one for the PS4 and the Xbox. I'll have a link in the description to the overall patch notes, and from there you can navigate to the different ones. I always go off PC. I play PC. I feel like most people play PC. The competitive scene is PC. It just makes more sense to cover the PC patch notes. But the big thing, of course, is the Summer Games event is back with new skins, with the Busan Stadium for Lucio Ball. So play some Summer Games if you want. I'll have a video out on Sunday about Summer Games. But for now, we're just going to talk about the rest of the update. So one of the things that they added is they added under attack voice lines for Zenyatta, Lucio, and Moira, who for whatever reason did not have that before. They have it now, so yay. Good job, Blizzard. Also, in the hero gallery, there's a What's New option that displays new unlockable content. You click it, and it'll show you what it is. You can see it on the homepage as well with the event. It'll say, Summer Games 2018, What's New? Click on that. It'll show you a list of everything. There's also something that I haven't seen written many places, but you can also go to an individual hero, and underneath their categories, such as skins, sprays, whatever, there's an unlock all option. If you have enough tokens, or enough credits, I'm mixing up Overwatch League tokens and then in-game credits. If you have enough credits to unlock all of their unlockables, you can, in that category, so if it's skins, if it's sprays, whatever, you can click the unlock all option, and it'll give you everything. It'll confirm it, whatever, and you get all the things in that category that you don't have yet. But let's move on to the hero updates, because there's quite a few. First, in a general sense, several ultimate abilities now restore ammunition after they are completed. Those are Genji's Dragon Blade, Junkrat's Riptire, Pharah's Barrage, Roadhog's Whole Hog, Zenyatta's Transcendence, and Winston's Primal Rage. So those, if you use them, your ammunition will be restored. So you don't have to worry about reloading before you use those abilities anymore. Now we're going to move on to some individual hero changes. The first one is for Ana, who had a change to her Nano Boost. It now instantly heals the target for 300 health and had its range increase from 30 to 40 meters. All of these changes were on the PTR. I think I talked about them all in depth, but just do a quick run through for all of them, just in case you didn't see those. And of course, with each patch note, there is a developer comment, so if you want to see that and read what they have to say in the description down below, you can link or read that through the link that's provided. For Brigitte, her Shield Bash cooldown was increased from 6 seconds to 7 seconds, and her Repair Pack now has an option to control it, making its sensitivity more controllable. So that's in the Options Controls Brigitte area. So go to Options, go to Controls, and then drop down menu, go to Brigitte, and there's an option to control the Repair Pack targeting sensitivity. That's the way I was trying to say that. Doomfist. His Rocket Punch no longer impacts Symmetra's teleporter, and it now destroys Symmetra's sentry turrets without stopping his movement. Hanzo had his Lunge cooldown increased from 4 to 5 seconds. Lucio had the Crossfade Aura Radius increased from 10 to 12 meters, and Sound Barrier temporary shields granted increased from 500 to 750. Mercy had the Caduceus Staff Healing Beam reduced from 60 healing per second to 50 healing per second. Moira had the Biotic Grasp passive energy regeneration rate increased from 2 per second to 2.4 per second. Reinhardt's Barrier Field decorative insignia no longer protrudes from the shield surface, so therefore it prevents things from bouncing off in awkward angles, or that we're able to sneak through because of it, so that's not a problem anymore. Sombra had a change to her hitbox, or her head hit volume, because it was too big. especially from the back. And then Symmetra had the photon projector primary fire range increased from 10 to 12. Widowmaker's grappling hook had its cooldown increased from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. Zarya had the energy drain rate reduced from 2 energy per second to 1.6 energy per second, and the graviton surge radius reduced from 8 to 6 meters. So there's a bit of a buff and a bit of a nerf. Of course, there's a ton of bug fixes. Anything you want to look at, that is all in the link in the description if you want to check any of that out. You can down below. But we're going to move on to the next story, which is all the info about the All-Star Weekend. So, what is going to be happening with the All-Star Weekend for the Overwatch League? It kicks off on Saturday, August 25th with a series of custom skill matches, and then on Sunday, August 26th, the Atlantic and Pacific All-Stars will go head-to-head with the actual All-Star game. So, we're going to go over the Saturday lineup of things. All players on each roster must compete at some point, and there will be no substitutions within each game. So, the custom games, there's going to be a Lucio Ball Showdown. So, it's 3v3 best of 3 series using standard Lucio Ball settings on the Busan Lucio Ball Arena map. Each match will last 5 minutes, and if a match is tied at the end of 5 minutes, then the next goal wins. There will be Mystery Heroes, where the Atlantic and Pacific teams will compete in a 6v6 Mystery Heroes game using standard competitive settings in a best of 3 series on control maps Ilios, Lijiang Tower, and Nepal. And for Mystery Heroes, players will be assigned a random hero at the start of each map and a new random hero on each respawn. That is the traditional Mystery Heroes rules, just with specific maps this time around. And then there's the Widowmaker 1v1s, where the Atlantic and Pacific coaches will select their 4 best Widowmaker players for this mini tournament. So the 4 players from each squad will compete head-to-head until there's 1 Atlantic and 1 Pacific champion, and then the 2 champions will face off in the final. The winner for all matches prior to the final will be first player to reach 5 eliminations, and the final will be decided by the first to 7 eliminations. The eliminations are headshot only, and automatic firing will be disabled. There's no capture points, and after 30 seconds, player locations will be visible to both players, and a match will result in a draw after 5 minutes. And the maps are Castillo for the quarterfinals, Necropolis for the semifinals, and Eco Point Antarctica for the finals. And then there's the Talent Takedown, where the Atlantic and Pacific coaches will draft 2 teams of casters and analysts. So that you'll have to look out for on social media, and the 2 teams will square off in a 6v6 best of 3 series using standard competitive settings, and the first map played will be King's Row, and the team that loses the first map gets to select the second map, and if the series is tied 1-1, a game of Lucio Ball will be the tiebreaker, and same thing of the Lucio Ball Showdown. If it's tied after 5 minutes, the next goal wins, and there's going to be Overwatch League players helping call the game, along with the casters and analysts that are not actually playing in that. And then there's the Lockout Elimination, which is that the Atlantic and Pacific teams will square off in this 6v6 competitive version of Lockout Elimination, or just, I don't know if it's normal, but the 6v6 competition using standard Lockout Elimination settings, and the winner will be determined in a best of 3 series. And the maps for this mode are Oasis University, Necropolis, and Castillo. And then you have the actual All-Star game, where it's going to be 6v6 using standard competitive settings. It'll be a 5-map match. The map pool is Kings Row, Rialto, Horizon Lunar Colony, Route 66, and Ilios. All 18 players on each team must play at least 1 map. Substitutions can only be made between maps, and 1 All-Star coach per team will help manage rosters and strategy. And the final thing is the Legendary Skins. I mentioned this a little while ago, but the Legendary Skins, the Atlantic All-Star Tracer, or 2018 Atlantic All-Star Tracer, and 2018 Pacific All-Star Genji skins are going to be available through purchase by League tokens. Originally 300 League tokens, but it was reduced to 200 Overwatch League tokens. So for 200 Overwatch League tokens, you can get each skin. If you don't have enough, you can purchase them. I would think that you can still gain some from watching All-Star Weekend, but I'm not positive. So don't quote me on that, but it is potential that you can get them by watching All-Star Weekend, but they haven't confirmed that or denied that. And of course, the All-Star Weekend will be streamed on Twitch through their website, the MLG website, and It'll also go live on ESPN3 and Disney XD on Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to watch those, you can do so. 4 to 10 p.m. Pacific on Saturday and 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. But we're going to move on to the next story, which is that Overwatch League sells a Toronto slot to Splice and Canadian investors. So we're getting an Overwatch League team in Toronto if these sources are to be correct. And these sources are, I would assume, the same ones who mentioned that Atlanta was getting a team and Guangzhou was getting a team, and who have mentioned that Paris will be getting a team. We don't have confirmation yet from Overwatch League themselves about the Paris team, but they have confirmed the Guangzhou team, and they have confirmed the Atlanta team. So the deal is reportedly for $35 million. It is going to Canadian entrepreneur Michael Kimmel, as well as Splice, which is an esports organization. There's some interesting things in this article, such as the fact that free agency for expansion teams will kick off September 9th. So I would expect we would know all of the teams by September 9th. So be on the lookout for that. But also that there is a very big confirmation, of course, that there are 4 teams, and we know, thanks to the Activision Blizzard Esports League's CEO, Pete Vlastelica, I don't actually know if that's how you pronounce that, that the league anticipates to sell 6 slots across North America, Europe, and Asia Oceania. Now that means not 6 to each, just 6 slots including that area. So we've gotten 3 teams from North America, all of which, three teams from North America? 2 teams from North America. Sorry, 2 teams from North America being Toronto and Atlanta. We have a European team with Paris and an Asian Pacific team, Asia Oceania team with Guangzhou. Interesting thing, though, is that if they are planning on operating in the same way that they did in the first season, where they have an Atlantic and Pacific division, that only leaves Pacific teams left. Now, of course, Asia Oceania can be represented, right? You could think maybe there's going to do 2 Pacific teams that are Asian-based teams, and then maybe they're going to try to do 2 North American-based teams that they've already done. But trying to find a Pacific-based European team is pretty much impossible, because unless you're including Eastern Russia as Pacific, even though that's Asia, you run into that problem. So unless they want to move stuff around, unless they want to, say, take Houston and make them a Pacific team instead of an Atlantic team, and add another European team and another Asian team or Australian team, whatever, there's going to be some interesting numbers to look at. Because right now, it doesn't look like we will get another Atlantic team. We'll get some Pacific teams. But at the same time, it comes down to money. If a team from the Atlantic is willing to pay more than any team from the Pacific, they'll go that route, and they'll have to decide how they're going to break everything down with the teams. We don't know yet. We will find out eventually, but for now, we'll move on to the final story this week, which has to do with the Overwatch World Cup. Specifically, that the group stage kicks off on the 17th. It kicks off in 2 days. On Friday, the group stage in Incheon, which is in South Korea, kicks off. It will be starting at 12 p.m. KST, which is 8 p.m. Pacific on the 16th. So just to make sure I have this correct, because I don't want to mess this up, that is 11 p.m. on Tuesday, basically, or in this case, it would be 11 p.m. on Thursday. So 11 p.m. Thursday, you will be able to watch the Korean group stage kick off in the East Coast, and on the West Coast it'll be at 8 p.m. Pacific. The teams that are going to be in the South Korean stage are South Korea, who are the fan favorites and the defending champs. You have Russia, who has 2 Overwatch League players in Mistakes and Shadowburn. The South Korean team is entirely South Korean players and is 5 NYXL players in Meko, Sabiolbe, Libero, Jonak, and Arc, with Carpe and Fate. Carpe from the Philadelphia Fusion and Fate from the LA Valiant as the other players on the team. You have the Finnish team, which is made up of 6 Overwatch League players: Fraggy, Zappis, Shaz, Big Goose, Linkser, and Taimu. Those are the main 6, with the sub being Davin, who is from Contenders EU. For Russia, I should mention that the other players are Tonic, TXAO, I don't know how you pronounce that, Mayen, ENGH, and Unfixed. Unfixed being the sub. Then we have Japan, who is basically just the Contenders team Cyclops from Contenders Pacific. It's Teo, TA1YO, Samurai D, Kenmo Hororo, Sabagod, Claire, Aimken, and Depp is the sub. Then you have Chinese Taipei, which has 1 player who's not even on any kind of team. Then you have some Contender-specific players, 3 from Hong Kong Attitude, 3 from Nova Esports. We have Kant, Ating, Tenten, Xiaoyu Lin, Craze 1S, Oyo, and Blue, who is the sub. And the Hong Kong team is made up of 4 Contenders players, 3 from Hong Kong Attitude, 1 from LGD Gaming, and 3 players who are not on any kind of team. And they are Mango Jai, GZQQ, Mui, Mikao, Jazzy, Yiwind, and Am Crazy. And you will have, of course, a bunch of commentators. You'll have Golden Boy Malik Forte from the Overwatch League, as well as Jake, the player for the Houston Outlaws, as well as some others. So that kicks off this weekend, this Friday if you're in Korea, or this Thursday night if you're on the East Coast or anywhere in the US. So that is everything. I didn't expect this video to be as long as it is, but it is. It's whatever. If you guys enjoy this video and are excited for what's coming with the Overwatch World Cup and everything else that's coming, let me know down below. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this video. It helps out a ton. But with that being said, that is going to end this video off. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.